Hey, what's up guys? So here we are back to the Python BACnet Stacks playground, which is turning into like a lunch break hobby here. So where are we at? So we've done quite a few lessons, some of the computer science 101 lessons, which I want to return to into the future. I've said a million times, we're all the way up to day 27 to start getting into algorithms. Maybe I'll do a video where how to use Cursor. I might actually modify some of the algorithm lessons to be more fault detection algorithms for HVAC, which I think is something we should get into and kind of play around with in general. So that's coming. And then we're on the Vibe Code app 8, which we've been stuck here for quite a while. We did a few things with Voltron. We played around with building a user interface for building automation. What's typical to building automation? What do you need in building automation? So we're kind of making this from scratch. So just like a little recap that like every building automation system these days are a web app. Usually they just run on-premise locally behind the firewall. They're not web apps exposed to the internet, like a banking website or something fancy like that. They're just like a web app that you just spin up that you can read and write to BACnet devices in the building for HVAC control. We need to schedule the BACnet equipment or the HVAC equipment via BACnet requests. So usually when the mechanical engineer, when they design a building, they write a specification for energy code requirements, ASHRAE 90.1. If you would read the intense large specification that the mechanical engineer writes, it's going to say that the equipment needs to shut down at night. It needs to shut down on holidays. So they write a written specification, and then we can just make that with a common web app. The web app frameworks all have this, and AI is really good at writing it. Usually the mechanical engineer spec will say we need to create alarms, we need to log data for about a month, or some kind of specification on that. We need to dial out and notify the maintenance team if a failure happens to a fan or a pump or a motor or something critical equipment. We need to text and email out that there's a problem in the building. So I feel really confident that we can build this, especially with the help of AI writing the code. It's really powerful. It's getting better and better. So us as building automation technicians, we know what we need, and we can just pretty much prompt AI to build it. But there is some caveats where it does help understanding some high level of software engineering, and then even like the Python 101 computer science data structures and algorithms can really, really help you too. So we've been iterating back and forth a few times. So this is just a schematic. I still have to add in, there's two other Raspberry Pis running BACnet servers, mimicking a VAV box and an air handling unit on the test bench. So I have to add that in, because that'll talk directly to the diy-bacnet server Docker container. And then when us, the humans, we'll dial into this Docker container running the Flask web app framework to see the HTML and the common building automation GUI that we're playing around with. And then these two Docker containers will talk back and forth internally on the Raspberry Pi from Docker container to Docker container. So when we dial in and we request what every building automation system needs to do, schedule equipment or whatnot, this container will talk to this container, and then the BACnet commands will go to the BACnet devices. And then keep in mind that this Raspberry Pi was too old to run Cursor on directly for the AI coding IDE, so I have to do it here. And then shoot the files over to the Raspberry Pi. So it's a little back and forth. Good learning experience, I think. So when you see me using VS Code, I'm actually dialed into here through SSH. But then when you see Cursor being used, that's here. That's on this machine. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of confusing. Okay, so where should we go? Let's check out our web app. I think I should be able to dial into it, and the last updates were made. So I'm just gonna dial into .12. I think we can just dial into .12 now. Okay, so we have a little dashboard. That just reminds me of something. There's also a third process running in here called caddy. It's called a reverse proxy. So there's another container running some web app code that's actually kind of like the gatekeeper. So like when we dial into here, we dial into a little web app, like a gatekeeper, I like to think of it, and then it'll pass off the information to here or here. So it's kind of like, it's getting a little bit more complex, but it's getting a little bit more professional too. Caddy is also used in production web apps for security purposes and rate limiting. If people are hammering a website on the cloud, zillion times per minute trying to take it offline, caddy is one of these tools that kind of protects these other containers. So think of it as a gatekeeper. I have to add that into this, so I'll probably do that next. Okay, so our last update, it's looking good. So we have an overview, a little dashboard just saying that we're live. Current time is pretty close. I don't think we need to see these. So also something that I think caddy does is help the internal Docker container to Docker container. So we could probably almost just delete this, because I don't think we need it. Like if there's, maybe this could go into the, well, maybe we'll keep it. I guess at some point in time we should say our devices are online or devices are offline. So BACnet is okay. That means that this container can talk to this container. They're up and running. No, they're not crashed out or anything. Point discovery. So we can do who is. So this is getting better. I don't think there's a way to delete devices though. We can select all. Is there a right click? No right click. So, okay, so I'm going to switch over to Cursor and start taking some notes. Okay, so like on our project, so this is my files locally for the Python BACnet Playground, all of our vibe code app points. And then if we go over to here, I'm just going to drag it into, I think I've started a new agent. Yeah, I don't think I have that saved memory of the last one, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to say I am testing out the latest build on the, I'm just going to switch back and forth on the Discovery tab. On the Discovery tab, I don't think there is a way to delete out devices, where then if that is done, hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more. Where then if that is done, this should also delete out the points for that associated device if points are already learned into the, I think there's a little database now. Database holding that info. So we'll get into this too, like what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, so points. All right, so we do have, I can see points now. Looks kind of wonky. So this is actually the points for these devices. Points tree. Okay, so it's last seen. That's kind of good, I guess. No way to delete the devices, or is there? Oh, there is a way to delete the device. So I'm just gonna delete it. Cool. Okay, so that's working. So discovery. All right, so that actually is there. Maybe we don't need that. Wow, cool. Okay, so polling. The thing that looks odd is why would there be a polling tab in a device and points tab? I have a feeling this points one can be deleted. So let's try our discovery. Run a whois. So look at that. So it's doing, it made a whois with the little spinner icon. That's cool. And then there's also, so let's see if that added in our two devices through BACnet. Here's our points, nothing in a points tree. So then we could do discover points for the selected devices. Okay, so these are my two devices that we've been working with on the test bench here for quite a while. So it pulled in the points, it looks like. So we have devices and we have some points. Ooh, cool. So there is a set polling equals true. Wow, it just grabbed all of the data. Then it also grabbed the points that are commandable, read only, commandable, read only. So that's kind of neat. This just looks kind of funny. Well, I guess it is polling on second, 30-second information. Alarms, no active alarms, trends. And it looks like we have a way to make some trends. Okay, cool, look at this. Load trend. Huh, okay, well that's cool. Interesting. Okay, so this is actually making some pretty cool things here. The only thing that I might ask for is if it can bake the polling into the points tree. And what would be really cool if alarms can also be baked into the points tree too. So like if you wanted to right click, this is almost like Tritium World. Let's test out delete a point. Delete this worthless point. Yep, cool, there it goes. Refresh data. Oh, cool. Okay. I wonder if we can even override. So we can't override things here yet. So this is just the setup of the building automation system. So I'm going to ask it to bake the polling into the points tree, as well as alarms, I guess. Alarm setup. Okay, so back to cursor. So actually I'm going to delete that. Latest build. So please bake the, let's see, what was this? Polling features into the features of the points tree, or then via the right click add more features for the polling as needed, as well as how to configure an alarm for the point as well. Alarm extensions typically need a high and low value for numeric type of point, and then for a Boolean type of point for a fan status or pump mismatch. On equipment failure, we need as well. Please update backend and front end as needed. Okay, so what else would we want with that? Cool, so notifications. This will be the future SMTP where we'd have to email out, which we can make a testing feature as well too. Trends looks nice. I think we almost need everything in like the like a little bit separate of a like an integrator menu, and also facility operator view. So sometimes in some building automation systems, they hide everything that you wouldn't need for to set up the application, because it makes it look a lot more easier, simple to understand. So we should probably say that too. Please refactor the device tree on the left to be more friendly for two modes. One will be a future login for a building operator, and another for a system integrator. System integrator can view the setup of the application, such as all the BACnet device setup and alarming and trends, etc., where then the building operator only sees the alarms, trends, and dashboard UI. So we should say notifications. For the future SMTP setup. So that should be nice, and then we should also have the overview. Would be really cool. I'm gonna say bonus points. I do this all the time actually. Bonus points to the AI agent if you can make the system overview page something completely customizable for the system integrator during setup to create a custom dashboard for sensors values for sensor values for the maintenance building operator staff to view. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Might even tell this to the AI too. Hopefully this makes sense. System integrator login can see all of the, let's see, system integrator can view all of the alarming notifications setup, can see, and recopy this, can see all of the configuration tabs on the left of the app, and then the building operate, and then we need to say which needs to include a custom UI interface, drag and drop sensor values, then save to a dashboard style would be real cool. And then the building operator login would be only visible to the dashboard, devices, and active alarms. Dashboard could have selectable drop down of devices to then view desired points as needed. I got one other thing that came to mind. There could also be a string note for each device on the overview that can be saved during the setup, which can be used for room numbers of the building, or whatever kind of information, room numbers, or some other methods of describing which BACnet device this part of the building serves. Okay, so I think that's probably good enough for now. Cool, so we have Caddy. We'll have to talk about this. This is the reverse proxy, kind of the gatekeeper. It's really cool that it added this in. So eventually we'll use this for security as well. What else should we ask? Data. So it looked like it added in SQLite front end. Okay, I'm just gonna tell it to please keep the HTML simple and always import JavaScript and CSS into the file, which it's already doing like that already. Right here. I've just seen it where sometimes AI just makes these really nasty, hard to troubleshoot front end files. Python code, which we'll probably play around with later. Wonder if it is actually using this. So it just has JSON as the, almost like the database. I'm just gonna say, feel free to modernize this into a database or delete if it is stale. And I'm gonna say the two, like, and since this is a new agent with no memory and we deploy with this, and it's also a PowerShell script to push the files over. I'm just going to say, please also update the README. All right, so I think I might, you don't have to do this, but I do kind of like putting it into this plan mode. See what this does. Okay, so my request is clear and ambiguous. So just so this plan mode kind of splits it out into a few more questions. Okay, how should I phase this work to build next? Ship now, role-based UI, points tree, do it all in one pass. Yes, of course. Let's just make it all go in one pass. For two user types, what implementation should we do? Okay, so we don't have this yet. Maybe we should just have this. Maybe we should do, I'm just gonna say, try to throw in production Flask login. Nice and professional. Please. All right. So Flask login, there's actually a way to do logins as well. I'm also going to say use proper hashing for passwords on the Bootstrap as needed. Typical to industry. Nice and secure. Continue. Perfect. All right, so it will build us a, hopefully I don't run out of my cursor usage because I've been just blasting through this. Okay, what do we got here? Ooh, up to 88%. So this is my account. I am definitely going to need to update from $20 a month to the Pro. There's no way I'm going to make it 22 more days with only 12% of my plan left. Yeah, this stuff is fun. It's worth paying for. I love Cursor. A lot of other people like Claude, but this is working good for me. Okay, so what do we got now? So hobby projects are fun. I think I need to add something for another container for Caddy. Let's just check it out. Okay, so it's building. I just kind of wanted to see these Docker files. So Docker, what we talked about, it runs a little flimsy Linux image in those containers. Docker Compose. Okay, so Docker Compose is being used here. So this is basically, we'll get into this more, but this is actually running all two containers, I guess. No, this is running all three of them. So this will be one container that I need to add to the schematic. So this is running Alpine Linux, which is just another flimsy flavor of Linux, kind of popular for web apps. I'm going to hit the build button here. So it's going to build. If you see this is what it's going to, it creates its own directions on what we want. So it's going to go nuts. I'm trying to build this. Build. Okay. Oh shoot. So back into here. So yeah, so this is our BACnet. So we've looked at the Swagger for this, for the DIY-bacnet server. Then this is UDP, on the BACnet end, 47808, which is default BACnet communications. So this is, yeah, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but this is how we run everything in Docker, which is pretty cool. All right, so it's getting better and better. So what is this? I think this is the 5th or 6th video for the Vibe Code app number 8. Yeah, look at this. It's going nuts for what we told it to do, and it's writing, you know, all this stuff. AI these days is getting better and better and better. So who knows? A year from now, this tutorial will be probably outdated already, but and then just at the moment, what is cool in Cursor is you can just go down to Cursor settings, and gosh, I think I have the font so big in here. I just have to zoom it out a little bit into the models, and I am running GPT 5.5, 5.4, Opus 4.6, and Gemini 3.1. But you can toggle all the different models, any different model that you want to run, and I rarely do that though, unless I can tell like the LLM is getting stuck and it's not, you know, we've talked about this, you know, it happens. So then sometimes I'll start playing with these, but usually they're getting so good now that you don't even have to. All right, guys, so I think the next video we will check it out. So let's see what it builds. I bet you know, 2 or 3 more videos we should have something pretty cool, including a way to test and dial out the you know, like we could send real alarm notifications, like if a sensor failed. So yeah, this is getting kind of fun. So hope you guys are liking this. I'm finding this kind of fun enough to do on a lunch break and the weekend. So talk to you guys later. Until the next one, have a good one.